This is an ongoing race now, and time really running out to try and rescue all of those who are trapped on board the Titanic submersible. Estimates that oxygen aboard could run out around 10 o'clock this morning.
Well, speaking last night, the Coast Guard captain said he had hope those on board could be saved.
When you're in the middle of a search and rescue case, you always have hope. That's why we're doing what we do. With respect to the noises specifically, we don't know what they are, to be frank with you. The P3 detected noises. That's why they're up there. That's why they're doing what they're doing. That's why they put sonar buoys in the water. The good news is, what I can tell you is we're searching in the area where the noises were detected, and we'll continue to do so. This is a search and rescue mission, 100%. We are smack dab in the middle of search and rescue, and we'll continue to put every available asset that we have in an effort to find the Titan and the crew members.
So where's the search now? It's currently focused on a point in the North Atlantic where the sound of banging has been detected and much reported. A French vessel carrying a state-of-the-art underwater robot is on its way to the area. In the studio here to give the latest updates is Paul Hawkins, our reporter on this. Paul, we can talk about a sub being in the area. This sub moves at the pace that a human walks.
Yeah.
Over a vast area. I mean, clutching at straws really now, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, time is running out. There is less than 10 hours of oxygen left. We should add that the key word there, though, is approximately, because there is a big window there in terms of if they are alive down there, how long they can make that oxygen last. I've seen differing reports on whether there are scrubbers inside that submersible which could clean the carbon dioxide that they would be exhaling. So it depends on how long that oxygen can last. But give or take, it's about just under 10 hours of oxygen left from today. So the clock is definitely ticking. They haven't spotted it yet. They're talking about a salvage operation, but they can only really talk about that and start bringing this huge US naval salvage vessel in once they actually spot it. So what we heard from yesterday, you saw that clip of Captain Jamie Frederick from the US Coast Guard, who gave a press conference yesterday at around 6 p.m. He said that they've now expanded the search area to twice the size of Connecticut. That's bigger than the size of Wales. This is a huge area, and they're searching right to the bottom of the Atlantic. That's about 2.5 miles deep. They are bringing in more aircraft, more ROVs as well. We also then had a second press conference. This is from Sean Lees. He's the co-founder and chairman of Horizon Maritime Services. They're the people that own the Polar Prince mothership from which Titan was deployed. And this is what he had to say.
Late last night, the Arctic crew loaded a U.S. ROV, which, thanks to the U.S. military, arrived by air to St. John's Airport late yesterday. The vessel departed the port of St. John's at 5 a.m. this morning and will arrive at the Titanic site tomorrow morning. We are very aware of the time sensitivity around this mission. Our crews and onshore team are experts in their fields and will continue to support this effort in every way we can. We remain focused on contributing to the search for the Titan crew. We have to hold out hope. I think, as you're aware, there's still life support available on the submersible, and we'll continue to hold out hope until the very end.
Absolutely clinging on to hope then there, and yet still time for criticisms to be creeping in, criticisms that the organisation themselves too slow to raise the alarm up to 8 hours before the authorities were notified of this. Is that a legitimate accusation, do you think?
Well, no, and in fact, the co-founder there of Horizon Maritime Services has been defending OceanGate, who own the submersible, saying that they've taken all precautions that they could have, and they explain to the people who get inside the submersible that they have to sign a waiver. There is a risk, an inherent risk there, and they're saying that they're doing everything that they could. In terms of the equipment that's being sent to the scene, there's a lot of hopes pinned on the French ROV.
Which is a robotic-operated vehicle?
Yeah, it's called the Victor 6000. Now, this it's on board the Atalante. I've probably mispronounced that, but that's the French ship that's due to arrive late on Wednesday, late today. So that's right at coming towards the end of that window that they have left in terms of oxygen. There's a picture of it there as it's going into the water, and that can be deployed right to the bottom of the ocean It's got really high state-of-the-art cameras. That's it, and they've got robotic arms as well. It can't pull. If it were to locate the submersible, it can't pull it to the surface.
This is the problem.
But it does have robotic arms that can cut it free from any wreckage or attach a rope to it to then haul it to the surface.
But of course, that's the problem, isn't it? You can't get oxygen to those inside the submersible unless they're up on the surface. Even if they do detect them, there's no equipment, as far as I'm aware, that can necessarily pull the submersible up.
Yeah.
It's a terrible situation. You know, for those on board, the family, what are we hearing from them? I mean, criticisms I read from Hamish Harding's cousin. They're very unhappy with
criticisms as well, but also they're still holding out hope that they will be retrieved, and indeed when we talk about that 10-hour window of oxygen and the clock that's ticking, it's not going to get to 2 p.m. this afternoon and then they call off the search. They'll keep going well past that until they can absolutely rule out.
But, Paul, things are bound to change from here on in terms of regulation. I don't know if there's a sort of a trade association for submarines or whatever, but, you know, submarines going down to that depth without some sort of cable attached to them, which would pump air or be able to pull it back up independently or whatever. You just cannot see the same conditions being allowed to recur again.
Yeah, this submersible is... Even on the face of it, I know there's been a lot of talk about the video game controller and the fact that bits of it were brought from Camp World, and on the face it is a very simple piece of kit, but behind it there is some quite sophisticated, cutting-edge technology. There aren't many submersibles in the world, and this is the only 5-man sub that can reach that depth, and they've openly admitted, look, no, we're not regulated by anybody. We don't have to manufacture it to any standards because we're right at the cutting edge of technology. If you think about when cars were first invented, there was no standards that the manufacturer had to reach because they were so innovative. So they're quite open about that. But yeah, questions will be raised about whether that needs to be regulated now.
And just lastly, Paul, this banging that has been heard, I mean, they haven't been able to say what it is or get to the bottom of that, but that is protocol, SOS protocol, to release bangs every 30 minutes if there is distress underwater. So there's a lot of hope being pinned on that. Yeah,
there is, but it does come with enormous caveats. I was hearing earlier today from one former US nuclear naval submarine commander who was saying that, look, there's a lot of noises in the oceans and it could be anything. It sounds like something, so they're going to focus their efforts on that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is one of these 5 crew members inside tapping on the outside. But yeah, indeed, that is what the standard SOS maritime signal is, you know, a repeated signal every half an hour or so.